influencer campaigns are booming in Japan. I don't actually have any relative numbers, but I think it might actually be a bigger thing than a lot of countries around the world.
Yeah, huge now. I mean, it's massively successful.
I think it's the same in the same product categories as you would see overseas: travel, cosmetics, fashion. Those sort of industries are often using influencer marketing.
Celebrities or like entertainment figures are very, very important.
Because social proof is such an important thing for the Japanese consumer, I think it's really important that companies who are stable enough to sort of invest in influencer marketing, they should strongly consider doing that to sort of better connect to the Japanese people and improve proliferation and that sort of thing.
But it's very, very dynamic. You know, you find that certain influencers don't really last very long. You know, so there's always this changing evolution. So yeah, whether it's musicians, whether it's actors, or even just normal people who, you know, might be a housewife, it could be a young person, it could be just somebody with passion, that generally tends to become quite strong.
Und wer sind denn gerade die bekanntesten Influencer in Japan?
If you go to sort of like the, you know, key influencer level, Naomi Watanabe is probably the most popular one right now. I think she has the most number of followers in Japan. You know, she's a very famous television personality. She's not a musical talent or an actress or anything like that. She's just basically very simple, just a personality. They call it a talent. But she's got a lot of influencer credibility. Who else? Rora is another one. There's quite a few. I mean, it's hard to, like, everyone is representing sort of a different thing, you know? Like Rhoda is more of a fashion icon, if you will, but she's got her own like personality stuff that she does on television as well. So, but and then there's tons of, well, relative to overseas markets, there's not a ton, but there's quite a few of micro influencers as well. So, people who just have their own community and their own sort of personal brand that they're putting out there in social.
I think micro influencers is a thing.
100%, yeah. I mean, you know, one thing about Japan is that they are very humble people. So, you know, you don't necessarily go out and talk about what you've done. So they actually like the little person being successful. Whereas in the West, we tend to really promote the big people further and further and further. So yeah, a lot of great stories, rags to riches, you know, people that basically just have a passion, you know, and they focus on something and do it. So percentage-wise, I'd say it's probably half and half. You know, and I think there's two reasons for that. One, I think sometimes too, the talent, you know, famous people tend to outprice themselves, so it's not, from a marketing point of view, there's no return on the investment. Whereas people that are influencers, people with a passion, initially they're pretty much motivated just by maybe some product placement or a small fee.
Depending on the industry you're in, so if you're in kind of FMCG and trying to sell like tubs of yogurt or cans of Coke, the trade is really, really important here, right? So the convenience stores, and they're like, well, where's my TV ad with my celebrity in it, so I know that, you know, people are going to come in my store because they saw that celebrity drinking the can of thing. And so for trade strategy, it becomes a harder sell because they're like, I don't know who this person is. And so when you're trying to say, no, it'll be fine, and all the right people, we come in your store and buying stuff, it's not what trade or salespeople are used to.
Und wie steht es um die Authentizität von Influencern? Bei der Frage scheiden sich die Geister.
The social kind of like influencer stuff, I think, is very artificial here. It's kind of like no one really kind of believes anything. It's kind of like you have like celebrities trying to sell Corollas, right? Like, there's no way that, you know, one of the biggest celebrities in Japan trying to sell a Corolla. Just driving a Corolla. He's never going to drive a Corolla. Right? It's like some authenticity is not there, but that's for everything. It's like everything. Some dude's selling something for everything. So it's kind of like, and that's the norm, right? So maybe that's what's supposed to happen, but it doesn't sell anything. It doesn't drive loyalty, and so it's this falsified kind of business model that TV, media, so media agencies and talent agencies have created this wonderful hidden market that at the expense of clients, right?
But I think the Japanese people are fairly trusting and put a lot of faith in others, in that of course this celebrity believes in this product. Why would he or she publish this if they didn't believe it, right? So I think there's a lot of, and I don't think that that's strange. I think in the Japanese culture, I think because of the way the culture is, I think a lot of people are, you know, Japanese people have a lot of integrity, and so the potential for a Japanese person to refuse a project because it's not in line with who they want to, their brand, is a very real thing, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes sense that a lot of Japanese people trust their idols or their role models, you know. Yeah.
Und woher kommt eigentlich die Beliebtheit von Influencer Relations in Japan? Klar, Social Proof ist sehr wichtig, besonders in Japan, aber wie Chris erklärt, gibt es noch einen weiteren Grund.
They still hang on to a very commission-driven model. So 15% commission, sometimes up to 30, depending on the channel that you're using. Digital sometimes is 30 if it's kind of if they have a relationship or if they've invested in creating content with them. So it's a very high margin industry. And so oftentimes what happens is the margins are so good on media that production is often not as profitable. So everyone wants media, no one wants to do production, and that's why the work suffers as a result, because the business model is skewed towards kind of like trying to get the media job. And then they try to get the creative done as fast and as efficiently as possible. That's why you have a lot of talent ads and kind of like celebrity-driven ads, because they don't need an idea anymore. So yeah, media is I think is one of the biggest problems here, and I think it's causing a lot of issues in terms of why Japanese companies haven't been able to elevate themselves in terms of branding and kind of understanding customers. They're very good at making stuff. Like phones or gadgets, but they're very bad at building brands. So yeah, but I think the business model has a lot to do with it.
Ja.
So hopefully, that's why I'm here to try to change that. Hopefully, we'll see.
Aber auch wenn Influencer Relations nur der Ersatz für eine kreative Idee sind sie denn trotzdem effektiv?
Yeah, because everyone likes celebrities here, right? It's kind of like, you know, but I don't know if it's really influencing anything. So I have a friend who is, you know, loves a particular kind of celebrity. They follow that person wherever they go, and they buy their product that whatever that person promotes, right? And which is fine, right? But so I said, why do you keep buying that, you know, beverage? He says, oh, because so and so is sponsoring it. And like, would you like to keep drinking it? And we know. And then when the minute that the sponsorship ends, they stop drinking it, right? There's zero loyalty, because they're only loyal to the celebrity. They're not loyal to the brand.
Oh, okay.
And so all these brands see these spikes in sales, but they never see the brand value go up, right? Because no one really cares about it. And it's all about the celebrity, it's not about the product, right? So everyone remembers the celebrity, not the product. And that's what people, I don't understand why they don't understand that, but it's all about getting the bigger celebrity, you know, or more celebrities.
I think the mentality domestically is, yeah, I mean, if they're doing it, we should do it. So often things happen with no real logic. You know, why are we doing that? Well, because our competitor's doing that.
And that's the problem, because like the guys with money say like, well, who we got? And they're like, man, I want it. And then everyone's trying to one up everyone else, right? And it's just kind of like, who's got the better celebrity? But it has nothing to do with product. And it doesn't. And so it's, yeah, I'm very bitter about this.
Somehow similar to the celebrity effect, using symbolic, cute animal as their brand image or as their, I don't know, symbol is quite popular too.
Yeah, there are a lot of brands that use character branding in Japan.
Yeah, because they need something. Because they don't really have anything. So like, let's do something cute because that other guy did that and that seemed to work. But I mean, like the whole cute culture, I think, is something that's true in Japan.
I think it has value. I think that sort of that character licensing level of marketing, I think, is still pretty effective here. I think Japanese people respond to. Japanese people don't respond as much to cool as they do cute. It's just how it is, you know. And so, when you execute a campaign that's got a level of cute to it, or a level of sort of like light, fun, happiness to it, then people respond well to that.
And mascots are easy to sell, and they're cheap on TV as talent, and you don't have to pay them that much.
So we have some client for whom we did competitor research and ask about, for example, top of mind awareness of their competitors. And sometimes people would say, I remember like that cat or like that dog. That looks like this, but they don't really remember the brand by name, which is a very interesting thing.
Now, just because someone has a mascot doesn't mean you need a mascot. Like every prefecture has a mascot. I don't know, do you need one? And so it's, there's a lot of business that grows out of it, I guess, and I guess it's fine.
I mean, it's a huge thing in Japan, right? Japan has something called yuru kyara, which is every region of Japan, and even like just a city, will have like its own character, you know.
In Japan, the prefectures themselves are kind of they try to kind of create a brand for themselves. So whether it's food or whether it's a culture or language or some sort of vibe. So I think prefectures do better jobs than businesses to try to build something, try to be known for something, right? And then they get these characters to sell that stuff that they're known for, right? So in that context, maybe it's maybe smarter than what I guess normal companies are doing.